Everyone, we're just getting started with the panel discussion. I'll just quickly do my introduction, a round of introductions for everyone, and then we can start talking about the topic that we're discussing here. So my name is Pandurang. I'm based in Mumbai, India. I work for Folk Media. We are a company that looks at a lot of different kinds of brand advertising solutions, using a lot of technology, connecting advertisers and publishers to monetize publishers, premium publishers with premium brand ad dollars. We do a lot of native advertising solutions. We also have a lot of mobile-based display solutions. So we do a lot of video advertising solutions as well. And so it's kind of interesting when the GMASA' guys said that it's a session on native versus video advertising. It was like, for us, both are strong streams of advertising, and in many cases, it's unified to a great extent. And so let's kind of understand what each of these streams are, and from the experts here, and also understand how these things pan out in this part of the world. So I'll just probably ask each of the people here, Manish, Giring, Ganesha, Aaron Chan, and Udit, to kind of introduce yourselves maybe quickly, and then we can get started with the discussion.
Thanks, Pandu. So first of all, I think it's everybody is looking so lazy after lunch, right? I want to say hi to everyone. Hi. Say hi. Okay, good. Before I start the panel, I would like to know regarding this panel, how many of you actually know what is native ad and what is video ads? Just raise your hands. I know both the difference. Okay, I can see only one hand. He's a gentleman. I can see only one hand. So, of course, I'm going to start with both the things. I understand there are some people, those who are eating and not concentrating on me. So, native ads is something which is basically, in a nutshell, okay, just in a nutshell, sponsored. Basically, it's a sponsored content. Video ads is something like you have and you have to run it via some apps. Okay, let's say you're playing a game, all of a sudden you see some video, either you can skipable the video or else you can just see the video. So there are various methods to basically, advertise your app. One of the best method, of course, is both native ads and video ads. We might have heard about banners, interstitials, which are pretty old-fashioned. Of course, these are currently on the fashions as well. They are making the good money. But of course, when you talk about the higher growth, this is, of course, video and native. So I'm basically going to put a lot of light in this particular native and video as how exactly these things happen, how any app, they can decide, okay, which one I have to go through. So let's say if you talk about video, so video is something you have to, do a lot of creative before you make your own video. Okay, supposingly there is an app for e-commerce. You make an app, you have to make sure the video is not more than either 15 second or 30 second, because users doesn't have time. If somebody sees some app is coming, they'll get bored. Okay, what is this video is coming for such a long time? You get, no, I just want to skip it. Native is something, it's come in your choice. Okay, it is my choice. I have to see the content or not. So I'm going to put the point on this. And after giving this introduction of the native ads and videos, let me introduce myself. My name is Manish Giri. I'm from Leadbolt, Australia. And we are pretty old in the business. We've been about a decade, it's been almost. We are doing business in countries like USA, UK, China, of course, India, and undoubtedly Southeast Asia is actually one of our biggest market to be captured in the scenario. So now I'm going to handing over to Giring. So just let him introduce about what exactly he has in the plan. Giring, over to you.
Hello. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Well, my name is Giring. I'm the co-founder of Kincher.com. So I'm going to straight to the point. But before that, I want to share you, I woke up in the morning, I come here to Balai Kartinia, and I saw a lot of Indians, and I thought I was in Singapore. Am I in Singapore or in Jakarta? So Kalau saya ngomong bahasa Indonesia, saya bangun pagi ini datang ke Balai Kartini, loh, gue lagi di Jakarta, apa lagi di Singapura ya? Ini kok banyak banget orang Indianya gitu. Dan ternyata mereka semua datang dari luar negeri. Jadi boleh nggak kita tepuk tangan buat para tamu kita ini yang dari luar negeri, daripada datang ke sini dan mengadakan acara GMASA ini. So let's go straight to native versus video ads, which is the best route for app monetization. So it depends, to be honest. It depends because what kind of KPI do you guys want? For me personally, I want to share you a story about my website, about our website, Kincir.com. Kincir.com is a website for community and also content for millennials and Generation Z. We provide them with contents, we provide them with video contents, we provide them with articles, we provide them with quiz. But one thing that I know about our users is they are all millennials. They are from high school, junior high school and college, and they have the same problem. The same problem is they all have prepaid card and data internet. So they don't have that freedom to use internet all the time because they have to spare their allowance to buy their data. So me personally, I believe more in native ads. My website believe more in native ads because we can connect with them and we can engage them with native ads. We can ensure that because our users is getting, my users, Kincir.com's user is getting smarter every day. They know that which one is an ad, which one is a sponsorship. So every time we provide them with native ads, we provide them with the form of great thumbnails, great pictures, and then great headlines. And then we make sure that they experience it. It's not like it's an ad, but we experience them, it's like it's a part of an article. That's why, thank God that we have a very good conversion rate and we have a very good successful rate in our native ads. We've been working with a lot of e-commerce like Lazada and Blibli, and then we provide them with the native ads that look like an article. So if they click, so the article is like this: you should buy these 10 shoes if you want to look cool in your next day at school. But when you click it, we just send them directly to this page that have 10 shoes from Blibli.com. So it's just like that. So if you ask me, it depends on the target of your audience. Thank you very much.
So GDP is supporting native ads. Just raise your hand how many are looking for funding. So he is ready. I mean, after this session, you can go and meet him. Okay, nobody is looking for investment here? Really? Oh my God, okay.
So I was going to toss this to Aaron, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, gentlemen. I thought we were supposed to just make an introduction of ourselves. You guys have already started the panel session, which is awesome. Hi, everyone. I'm Aaron from Ad Colony. I guess most of you might know us as Oprah MediaWorks previously. We have rebranded into Ad Colony just beginning of this year. So Ad Colony is one of the largest independent mobile advertising and marketing platform. In fact, all this conversation that is going on about native and video is uniquely interesting to me because while many might thought that Ad Colony is only specialized in video advertising, we do have an entire suite of product from rich media to native to even programmatic. And I think Giri mentioned something that is extremely critical and important. It's never about what platform or what format that is better than the others. You have to look into your audience interests, what your users are looking for, how your content is actually being presented as a format to the users. And in that way, you can then select the best compatible ad format that ensures user interaction, user experience to be the most optimum, and then compare that with the monetization goals. So I think with that, I will pass on to my friend here, Udit, from Vongo. Thank you.
Thanks, Aaron, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm Udit. I work with Vongle, which is one of the leading in-app marketing platforms specialized in video advertising. We kind of specialize in doing UX-driven video advertising. I think, again, topic is pretty in sync with what we do or what Ad Colony does is UX-driven advertising. I think to continue on what Aaron said, understand your audience, understand why they are accessing content, be it through a game, be it through an app, and then kind of use monetization as an effective measure to not compromise on why primarily someone is within your app or within your property, and also kind of make money out of it. So some of our, customers or some of our partners include Gameloft, EA Sports, Supercell, Sega, Outfit 7. So all of the leading game developers, gaming studios use our monetization solution to advertise on their inventory. That's a small snapshot about Wangal. In terms of geographic presence, we are present in 7 countries globally. Each market is different again, in terms of what is accepted. So it would be unfair to compare what works in tier 1 primarily because of the internet connectivity, the device proliferation in those markets, to a country like Vietnam or Indonesia where the internet connectivity is not yet reached that level of 4G and 100 Mbps or 1 Gbps connections everywhere. So again, that's a pretty important factor which plays into how what kind of ads you use and how best you reach your audience. So yeah, that's a small brief introduction to Wangal.
Thanks everyone. I guess the audience has a good idea of there's video advertising formats on mobile, which basically on the mobile screen it would make sense for having a lot of rich advertising which takes over the screen. So video is a great format to kind of do stuff there, and obviously native advertising is pretty in stream with the content. So if consumers are consuming content and they see sponsored messages, brand advertising messages, that's pretty natural for them to kind of consume. My question, probably I'll just keep asking each one of you, is when you're looking at doing a lot of native advertising content, right? Giring will probably know, because you cater to a lot of millennial audiences, and you're talking to a lot of 18 to 24 kids, so I'm sure a lot of brands are dying to kind of have conversations with them. How does a brand, how does a marketer measure the impact of a native advertising kind of campaign versus, let's say, a video advertising campaign where they're looking at how many people watch the video or how many people click through from a banner or any of that? When it comes to native, how do marketers kind of approach you in terms of knowing whether it worked for them?
For us in Ginger.com, we have those standard KPIs, click-through rates and conversion and everything. But we believe in our company that we believe if we want to make a video advertisement or we want to video project, it's like this. We did a project with Fox, The Walking Dead, at the early season of season 7 at the opening season. So we make this an experimental virtual reality experience. So we invite our hosts, we got our own hosts inside of the car. They use a virtual reality, and then inside the virtual reality, they were chased by zombies. So we record everything, and we put a real zombie, people make up a zombie inside the car. Wow. So when they put off the VR, the real zombies is everywhere. So we record it and we put it on YouTube, we put it on Facebook, and we pushed it again. And then after that, we put that's coming soon, Walking Dead season 7. So in terms of that, we want to make those kind of content. We want to make more experienced content to engage the millennials. It's not just making a product, hey, my product is good like that, but let's try something else. Let's make an alternative way how to engage our future audience with great contents. That's how we make it in Ginger.com. Thank you.
Right. And Aaron, I mean, on the same kind of things, when you look at video, is it largely just about how many people watch this video, or is there more to it than that, that you actually kind of say whether the person actually was influenced to go and buy this product or in some way do that? What kind of metrics are marketers asking you?
Well, absolutely. I think that is a great question when you look at the kind of ROI marketers are looking for. And I think that actually correlates very well to very much to the publishers in terms of their ROI as well as the kind of revenue that they are deriving. A lot of people think that marketer and publishers, they are sitting on different side of the bench. In fact, what I see is that when you give them a very immersive ad format that actually works well for the marketers, KPI or their return of investment, it actually translates into extremely good performance on the publisher side. The best use of their impressions that is available as well. So in Ad Colony, that is something that we have been pushing very aggressively second half last year and this year, which is new formats such as vertical advertisements as well as immersive ads that the user can not just watch a video 15 seconds, 30 seconds, click on a button and then go somewhere else. But you can in fact experience the entire video ad as well as the in-app, be it Walking Dead kind of experience or one of the campaign that we have ran last year with Finding Dory, which actually introduced the characters within the movie, within the video ad itself. The users do not even have to actually get out from the video ad to see what is happening. And all these metrics are definitely available for the marketeers to measure their success on. So I think that is pretty much summarizes what I feel about native experience. It's not about native, one image, in content, or video which is just pre-roll. I think how you marry both experience into a seamless kind of presentation to the user, that is more important than the conversation on which is the best route for you to do your in-app monetization or marketing.
Great. So I'll just ask a different question. In the interest of time, I want to kind of cover at least 2-3 different topics. So maybe to you two, I'll ask this other question. So as an advertiser or a marketeer today, if they wanted to kind of do this kind of immersive experiences, VR, zombies, or I saw some interesting 360 videos that you guys have done and all that. What's the kind of investment today that an advertiser has to look at? Are people worried about, are we investing too much in creating one ad, and what's the ROI on the investment of just creating the creative itself? How does that work in the ecosystem? Is it usually the brands that are making it and running it, or are they working with you to kind of do it in a most cost efficient way? And
Sure. So I think a couple of ways to look at it. First of all, at Wangle, we have a creative labs because we are a UX-driven company. We have a team of about 30 designers who have specialized themselves in creating immersive, rich media, vertical video, playable ads, dynamic interstitials, and basically all these different type of ad formats work in sync with the KPI of the campaign. So kind of to give you an example, we did this for a major e-commerce giant in North America. So they used a combination of 4 type of ads. One was the vanilla video ad, which is like your landscape and portrait mode. The other one was an interactive video. So you can swipe around the products which are being displayed. After the video is over, you've got a 10-second window, what we typically call an end card, where you can kind of swipe around the different products, read reviews by just swiping the finger, understand what different products are being shown to you. Another interesting thing which we did was for a game, which is called a playable ad. Playable ad is basically, after you watch the video, you can actually play the game within the ad unit. So you watch the video because you opt into watching the video. You watch that complete video for about 15 seconds or 30 seconds. After that, you can actually play the game. So if you do all 3 and you install the game, you're going to be a more engaged user because there are 3 validation steps which have kind of taken place before you've actually taken the final action. So that is something which we have seen drives a lot of LTV. On the brand side, we worked with a lot of automobile makers, and we do something which is very interactive. So let's say it's a new car being launched. After you watch the video, you can take a 360-degree look of the car by just swiping around the end card. So there's no one-size-fits all kind of approach. It's like depending on what the brand objective is or what the performance objective is, then you kind of tie it down into an engaging, interactive, immersive ad unit, and align yourself to the longer picture of what you want to achieve out of your marketing spend.
So you'd say if there is ROI, advertisers wouldn't mind investing in creating that content one time.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we kind of, just to kind of conclude, we kind of help them, get there. So because we have a lot of readily available templates, we show them a lot of samples, we show them how this would look within a campaign, and then they kind of, choose what they like.
Yeah. So again, I'm switching questions because that clock is right in my face and it says 5 minutes left. Ad blockers, right? Apple is now allowed third-party ad blockers. Android always had third-party ad blockers. A lot of, even on the desktop, a lot of people use ad blockers, and it's a thing that worries a lot of publishers, worries a lot of game developers, whether ad blockers will take away revenue that was coming to them. So, what's the way in which companies like you are looking at that?
So, first of all, if we just think and go back to the arena and just think what all the facts are there. So when you talk about the real facts, putting across everything on a nutshell is 52%, basically 52% of the ads, people, they're the users, they normally see the ads. Okay, so it's not about the hierarchy of we are thinking, okay, are we really, done the great job by putting the ad? It is again depend on the replacement, okay, how the replacement had put it in place. No doubt you put a question about the ad blockers. So this is actually creating a problem, but then again, it is actually helping users as well. So let's say example of me. When I'm watching a television, when I'm watching a movie, I really don't want to watch an ad or read something, okay, it's some ad come, okay, Lux is this, blah, 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 and I'm like, oh my God, what is this coming up? I think nobody likes to watch an ad while watching something which is interested. But that is what these things we are getting in the native ads. When you talk about native ads, so this is something which is coming in a choice. So, basically what happens is, okay, I am doing something, let's say I'm reading an app called AVP News, scrolling down. I see something, okay, this is an ad which is not a plop ad blocker, which is just a normal, you can see a feed or seed, something like that. It just came. Am I really interested to read that particular topic or watch this particular video? So that native video actually, it is coming on interest. So that's the point. So these ad blockers or pop-up blockers, whatever blocks, these kind of stuff, these are actually affecting business, but not that much. The reason being is that we are showing something which is actually the interest of the users. You get the point? And this is again depends on the, the ratio of when we talk about, the age group. Just now I think you mentioned, and even Udit mentioned about the age group and stuff like that. So this is like 18 to 24 age-wise, either it is male or female, these kind of a person are actually more interested to watch these games, video, or, to read the format, because those are basically either a student or just a passed out and they are like working. So they do have a time, they do read a lot, and they are actually our real users. So I would say being in a lead port, we of course might have faced some issues with respect to ad blockers and all, but not much. It is not affecting much business because, as I said, it's all about the interest. So it's all the user's interest. So that is what is happening in the current scenario. And as I mentioned the facts, 52% of those who was actually not interested, female ratio 52%. Again, 26% of the ratio of persons, those who are actually watching some apps or reading some content only to read the ads. So this is like that. That's my answer.
All right. I know people used to flip magazines long back just to watch ads because magazine ads were always kind of great, right? So a similar kind of thing for you, Giring, which is basically if you had to kind of look at your audiences, 18 to 24, attention spans are really low, right? I mean, for them, probably the sense of coming there is mainly for the content. And if somebody else offers similar content with an ad-free experience, they'd probably, just kind of move there really fast because they don't have too much, I don't know, I might be wrong, but most audiences in that age don't have like a brand affinity, or they're not stuck to one brand kind of thing. They go where the community goes. I mean, we moved from Facebook to Snapchat to Instagram to like the thing. So and there is the whole social media angle to it, where a lot of people are watching stuff on that, and social media channels largely there is social, video and native both playing there as well. So how do you see that in your kind of communities and in the younger audiences?
So if you want to say our presence, maybe I should say that if you talk about how can we become more unique to our users. First of all, we have a very great team of content writers that we write stuff according and how we talk to them. It's like we use a lot of slang words. We use a lot of like common city words. So how to engage them? We make more content. It's not full SI content. We make it more pictures, more listicles. So it's very easy for them to read. And then, of course, what else about social media? We want to be in everywhere. We have our own Snapchat, we have our Instagram, we have our Twitter, we have our Facebook page. If there's a new social media coming, we'll be there also, because we want to make presence in everywhere. We want our content to be everywhere. And in each content is very different, how we talk to them. My best study case is, if you want to talk about lifestyle and then magazines like info, we just put it in Facebook. But if we want to create a content with full entertainment, we just put it on YouTube. Because all entertainment, our major entertainment content reach about to 1 million views in YouTube. But our magazine and Facebook also reach around 500,000 readers and viewers also. So we have to know if the Facebook users are, our Facebook user is much more people who likes to read infos. And YouTube is just like, I just want to watch something entertaining. In Twitter, it's only about updates, just updates. About if Taylor Swift just broke up with Tom Hiddleston, we just put it in Twitter as fast as that. But Instagram is more engaging with quiz, great pictures, info about whose birthdays. Is it Batman's birthday, or is it Captain America's birthday, or stuff like that? So we want to make Kincir presence everywhere. So that's my answer. Thank you very much.
You brought up a very interesting point, which basically was, you said entertainment videos did well on YouTube, or food videos did well on YouTube, whereas some other kind of content did well on another social media channel. So when you're doing plans for advertisers, when you're working with advertisers to say, let's do a native advertising or a video advertising kind of campaign, what kind of tools or data do you rely on to say, let's make, how do you come up with the strategy to say, this is the kind of content, whether it's 360 VR or zombies or a food video or any of that? I love that zombies example, so I'm going to keep remembering that. But then whenever you come up with any of these things, how do you kind of predict what the performance of such a ad format is going to be, and whether it's the best ROI? Do you use any tools? Are there any kind of insights that you look at and data that you look at for this kind of stuff? Yeah, I guess both of you can. Okay, that red screen is getting really scary. So it's really interesting. I think it's a recurring topic saying that ad blocker is one of the most disruptive thing to the mobile advertising industry, and how it's going to affect user experience or publishers' revenue. One funny example that I have before I get to the question is that my dad is 70 years old, and he recently started using his smartphone and consume a lot of mobile apps. One thing that I try very hard to explain to him what I do at work is this annoying video or advertisements or banner that comes up when you are reading news. That is done by your son. And he'll be like, oh man, that is so disruptive. I hate those things. And then 3 seconds later, he will message me and say, hey son, I saw this advertisement on a glucosamine supplement. Can you buy that for me? So I'm like, on one hand, you're saying these are things that you do not like to see, and on the other hand, you're saying that obviously it's actually reaching your target audience. So I think ultimately that's why in AdColony what we are facing is I think it's not so much about whether it is disruptive to the user or whether advertisement on the general scheme of things is actually bad for the user. It's more about how to deliver the right advertising message to the right audience.
In Ad Colony, we have our own true audience database, which actually match different various metrics that you mentioned just now to make sure that if you are in, let's say, a very one base of mindset, which is probably you are checking for bus timing or using a conversion calculator for some purpose, then that is maybe not the best time to show you something that really need to take your attention away, for example, a performance campaign. Whereas if you are in a very relaxed state of mind, a state of one, then you're just playing a very interesting mobile game or casual game on your mobile phone while you're on the subway, which takes like 2 hours journey time, then that is the best time for you to actually run the right kind of campaign for these audiences. So summarizing that, I guess, it's important to work with the advertisers and the marketer to understand what their audience type, what their eventual ROI is, what is the kind of message that they need to get to the audiences, and then make the right recommendation in terms of either creative format or playable ads or even rich media campaigns. And it could be a blend of both. Most of the campaign, I would say at least 80% of the campaigns that we run has components of different channels. There will be a first, 20% of the campaign budget that goes to a warm-up phase, which is just a general branding. And then towards the end, then maybe we will do more that channels them to the destination that they want to. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so I'll try to briefly answer both questions. One is on ad blocker. I think this is like, this has started coming up in a lot of ad tech conferences. I'll share a small example. So let's say you're playing Subway Surfer and there's a rewarded video implementation or a video implementation there. You run out of lives and you're using ad blocker, or let's say you're on offline mode and you're on some 25th or 28th level. Here you have a pop-up which says that watch a 15-second video and you get one extra life, right? So those are the kind of engaging ad formats. Those are the kind of ad formats which kind of get involved into the gameplay, which then don't appear to be so disruptive to the user. So we've seen so many instances that we've got feedback from our developer partners on their Play Store or App Store that I need more video ads. Show me more video ads. The developers are capping it at a certain level because they don't want to overdo it, fearing that it will cannibalize their IAP. But the users want more because there is some value they are deriving out of watching a video ad in terms of a virtual currency, in terms of getting a new life, getting some superpower, which then does not only sound like, okay, this is in your face. And second of all, it's opt-in. So in gaming, this is something which has been there since almost the time since mobile gaming started, offline gamers. Right. So offline is even one step above that. They're not at all on internet. But still the industry has grown. So it's all about placing the right ads at the right time where the users derive value out of it. I think if you kind of align your monetization strategy with this objective, ad blockers or users not wanting to watch a video kind of gets mitigated to a certain extent. Coming to the second question about what kind of metrics do we look at before starting a campaign, or what is valuable to an advertiser. So we are plugged into Nielsen and we get their audience data, which then refines our device ID pool, which we collect because we use our SDK within gaming applications or within applications which monetize using us. So if you want to do a campaign, let's say for instance for a car like Suzuki, the brand planner would kind of have a TG which he would pass on to someone from our team. We would then look at the Nielsen data that, okay, here are 1,000 applications which cater to the audience which you're looking at. And again, as Aaron mentioned, it's very critical to do a warm-up run, right? Maybe, we capture 1,000 and there are some 200 which don't get captured within that, but they perform exceptionally well in terms of CTR, in terms of low bounce rate, in terms of, getting engaged with the video. So after you kind of have that intelligence, then you start pumping more budget, allocating more budget to those particular apps. So it's more about learning as well as kind of doing your groundwork. Like, for example, if it's a action game, like, which is like a very hardcore game, you don't necessarily know that. I mean, you surely know that people are not going to like match 3 or casual games over there because it's a serious audience. So that basic due diligence of matching what kind of audience you are at and then coupling it with data, that kind of ensures what is going to go into a successful campaign in terms of ROI, engagement, or whatever metric you're tracking. Having said that, it's a learning phase. It's like, again, you cannot be 100% sure. Things convert. Things perform well even when you don't expect them. So it's pretty important to gather the data, optimize, and then kind of go out during the final phase of the campaign when you know that this is working well. So yeah, that's
great. So I think we're short of time, and I mean, do we have more time or? They're not looking at us, so we can continue. I think just before we wrap up, I want to kind of get each one of you, and in the interest of time, we'll probably do this in a fun way as well. One, you basically, I mean, I don't think anybody here is saying native or video, it should be only one kind. We are all agreeing that both are kind of great mediums to kind of engage audiences, and then there is a convergence of sorts of both mediums. In the next year to 2 years, as technology is going to improve, I'm sure each one of you has been looking at your plans of how your company grows or how your business grows and things. What are the in one word or in 2 words at most? What are the 2 words that you would kind of say are things that are things to watch out for the future in native and video advertising? We can probably start from there and come back this way. So
I'd say gamified ads, which has been around since a long time. Just to kind of briefly summarize what gamified ads are.
It was one word.
So gamified ads, that's the one word.
All right.
The fun thing about this industry is it's so difficult to just even look past the 6 months. I probably have better odds at guessing whether my wife will be angry with me 2 weeks from now than what is going to happen in the marketing industry. But I have to agree with Udit here. I think I will use another word for that, immersive ads, which is something that is going to be the most important and most exciting for us, at least within this 6 months to a year period. Yeah.
I know your competitors, so
we are your friends.
You almost
operating in the same industry.
Okay. To be honest, this is something that is not connected to my website at all, but something that we have to really watch out in this year, eventually, is for advertisement. I think in Indonesia is growing big, is the social media influencer. It's really going very big with it. That's it.
So I'm going to conclude this with the 2 words which exactly Pandurang has asked me. The future is going to be native videos. The reason being is that you have native, you have video both together. So, which is why, because the time has gone when the internet was so higher on the rate. Nowadays, everything is coming so cheap. Even in India, I see a normal, like a dukan wala can buy internet because of Jio. So everybody have internet. So this video and native, this is going to rock the world. This is going to rock as well the same industry where we are all working. So the 2 word for me is native video, no doubt about it.
Great, and I'm going to add 1 word from my end, which is basically data, which kind of is the underlying thing for all of this to understand audiences better, right? So I guess we move on to the next panel now. Thank you, everyone, for sharing your views, and thanks a lot, guys. Give them a big hand, please.
Thank you so much. Pandurang, that was amazing. Please stay on stage, and I'd like to call Mercy to present a little token of appreciation to all the speakers and to the moderator. It was awesome. Definitely, it will be up to each individual's choice whether to go for native ad or video ads, but at least now we know the difference, and it's always good to learn new things. For me, I have that love-hate relationship with ads as well. Like, I don't know whether to love ads or to hate ads, because I buy a lot online because of the ads I see, and, especially on social media, on Facebook and everything.
So now
And
you
talking-
become more intelligent and know.
Yes.
You know pretty much what is needed, what is video.
Well, talking about social media, let's do the selfie contest now. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, we have selfie contest at GMASA', and please help me make this campaign the more the merrier. Yes, please. I'm new to this, right? I feel like I'm a tourist, like in Singapore, like Indonesian tourist in Singapore with the selfie stick, right? Okay. It's on timer. In 3, 2, 1. All right, cool. Thank you guys. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you.